Hey y'all, how's it going? Sly here. As usual, I'm here to sort of disrupt the things that people valorize and elevate that go hand in hand with multiple layers of how people are still oppressed around gender and gender expression. So, obviously, we have Elliot Page coming out in the media as a famous transmasculine person and being celebrated for his transition, which is fantastic. I applaud him coming out. I think it's incredibly courageous and brave. And he gets to be whoever he wants to be. Recently he posted a pic on Instagram that got praise and scorn, right? For showing his body. I guess I have some thoughts on not specifically Elliot Page himself, because I don't think that that's fair to criticize an individual for, their body or how they present themselves. Elliot should go topless wherever and whenever he wants to. That's fantastic. I hope he enjoys himself. What I do think is really interesting is the people who, queer, trans, cis, gay, whatever, straight, whatever, the people who do turn up to praise him for the picture that he showed of his body, his mostly naked body, are people who, unilaterally almost shower hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments about abs, abs, chiseled abs. It's like the dream, apparently, It's not unfamiliar to me because in the 80s I grew up to Barbie doll ideals and Ken doll ideals, very hyper masculine and hyper feminine options that, again, I never fit into. It's like, okay, well, so now I think what's important to discuss is how we hold collectively and how we praise people for, especially in the media, and especially since we don't have a lot of trans representation still. I mean, it's fantastic now, but still we don't have too many role models in the media of that status, of that level, of that exposure and fame, that we, whoever is responding and holding Elliot, maybe not just narrowly focus in on his abs. Like, maybe that's not the most worthy part of him, and maybe that's not even the most comment-worthy part about him. And maybe that sends a message to Elliot that, his abs, being so chiseled are really, like, super valuable. And maybe for other people who are watching that are trans, masculine, or non-binary, maybe we and they also don't need to see hundreds and thousands of comments praising with hearts and flames and whatever a trans masculine guy's abs. And I'll tell you why. Here's another thing. Trans masculine people or trans men or non-binary people who were assigned female at birth full well know that our bodies are the site of fat shaming and fat phobic policing, and requiring us to erase ourselves to the point of emaciation in order to be considered good feminine subjects, good female subjects. We can't have any scrap of fat, not 1 ounce of fat on our bodies. And if we comply with that, then we'll be worthy. And for trans masculine guys, that's particularly loaded because somewhere inside of us, we already know that we're not girl enough, we're not feminine enough, we're not woman enough. So many of us, before we come out and accept ourselves as trans of any variety, try our best to comply with femininity and feminine standards, and may internalize, the value or devaluation of our bodies as we've been conditioned to. And so when we come out, when any of us come out and are trying to claim and own our bodies fully, and see that in order to be now a successful masculine subject, we have to be chiseled and skinny and have not an ounce of fat on our bodies, which, by the way, is completely unattainable for 99% of people without starving ourselves. We now have another set of societal conditions that elevate that very same body that we were conditioned to perform as feminine subjects is now cross-applied to masculine body ideals. You have to be fat-free, which is entirely impossible unless you're a marathon runner or naturally genetically built that way, which some people are. But it's not, like to expect that and praise that and shower that with attention and hyper-focus, collectively on abs as like the thing that is like most celebrated. It gives transmasculine people the very same message from the other side of the gender binary that we had for the first 20 years of our lives or whatever. And so, cissexist standards, apply here, and we're all guilty of internalizing them. And so what I'm simply saying is we need to be mindful of how we selectively praise someone based on their abs or skinniness or rippedness or whatever the case is, and simply be mindful of how we show up in the world publicly on social media when someone is showing their body. Do we have to, every single person, say, wow, fantastic abs, great, way to go, chiseled abs? Like, do we need to do that? Because now it really does seem that thousands of people really only appreciate that. Even if Elliot, for example, is topless and looks great, just say that. Hey, dude, you look really fantastic, way to go. I'm so happy for you. Don't say abs, 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 abs. Because guess what? Anyone watching is going to feel like, wow, if I don't have that, I don't have much. Similarly to, hey, if you haven't had the ability to have top surgery, are you going to be seen as masculine enough? So just be careful in your words when you're celebrating people, and because they have impacts. And if you're all echoing the same message, that is the message that you get as a person watching and not being valued. Okay? So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Cissexist, gendered, binary, exaggerated body ideals work both ways for transmasculine people. Okay? Anyways, peace out. Have a good day. And I'm signing off for now. Bye-bye.